EC, you can already see how much we are speculating and getting jittery with the little information about. I introduced myself long ago, you came late. I am Brigadier General Charity Vinavabo, UPDF representative to the 11th Parliament. EC, you can already see how much we are speculating and saying things that we do not exactly have. See that there's no proof. So I'm requesting EC that you educate us on how far from the polling station we should be after voting. Because the polling stations are designated. We need to hear from you how far away after voting we should be from the polling station, because that congestion around the polling station is one that allows for people to run away with ballot boxes, irrespective of party. I do not want anyone here to accuse party A or party B, but when we allow that crowding at the polling station, that is how come we get people running away with things. That is my view.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable members, kindly allow the Electoral Commission to respond to the issues raised, so we can then, yes. Let the Electoral Commission handle this set, then we can go back again.
We assume that this is the final register, or you are still scanning through, because we are very worried. You know, much as the law says towards 14 days towards the elections, that's when you give the final. But it's also kind of brings suspicion to this time when you are, taking us through these biometric machines, and yet you are still, scanning through the register. I would have assumed that by this time around, we would be having at least data on the final list of the number of voters that we do expect. So we need to really learn from you, or update us on how far have you gone when as far as having the final national register in regarding to voters.
Well, there is something you have analyzed.
That are being recruited. Some of them are cadres with instructions to distract this process. We are aware. What will happen if somebody deliberately fails to use the machine? Somebody says number 1 has failed, number 2 has failed, number 3 has failed. What happens at a polling station when we totally fail to get somebody to run the machine, or if the machines totally fail? Shall we proceed using the manual, or the election immediately stops? What will happen? 2, what happens if goons come around and run away with the biometric machines, both of them? What will you do as the Electoral Commission? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Kanya. Honorable Kanya. Let's have Honorable Kanya and then Honorable Abu Kenya. Yes, in that order.
That are being recruited. Some of them are cadres with instructions to distract this process. We are aware. What will happen if somebody deliberately fails to use the machine? Somebody says number 1 has failed, number 2 has failed, number 3 has failed. What happens at a polling station when we totally fail to get somebody to run the machine, or if the machines totally fail? Shall we proceed using the manual, or the election immediately stops? What will happen? 2, what happens if goons come around and run away with the biometric machines, both of them? What will you do as the Electoral Commission? Thank you.
Because you indicated that the ballot papers will be scanned at the end. But I wanted to know, because remember you're going to use these machines, and by close of day, as you're going to count, it will have been used for some hours. So what happens in that instance where the machine fails and yet the ballot, people have cast their ballots? Because I hope it is not going to, because we've seen this before, where you bring these equipments and then at the end of the day they say the equipment has failed, now we are going to go money. It has happened before. So I want assurance from you that this biometric machine will actually be functional even at the end of voting as you are going to start counting. And what happens if it fails? Because you can also come up as the Electoral Commission. We have seen you contradicting yourselves. In one case you say this, another you say the other. So what happens when at the end, you now say the biometric machine has failed, so we are just going to count what is here? I just want to know.
Okay, thank you, Honorable.
Because these are possibilities.
A quick one. There is the owner.
And then you say that the machine must capture, I think, the serial numbers on each and every ballot paper. And then that means that if this one collapses, is there any way the first one is linked to the backup machine, that it will be able to capture what was in the first one? Because you said all the ballot papers must also be verified, exact with the serial numbers, the ones that are in the boxes. But now I want to ask, if you have a polling station with 700 or 500 voters, and polling ends at 4. In some circumstances, you find at 4 you have 100 people on the line. That means polling might proceed till 5. Then at around 5, you're putting the ballots together, verification. We have rural constituencies, whereby at a polling station, you do not even have electricity. There's no source of lighting. And have you factored in the fact that the process is going to take longer than actually the usual manual process, whereby people vote, then maybe the seals are not, the serial numbers. So we want you to take us through that process, including that issue of time, because we are very worried when the process of writing in the declaration forms is in the middle of the night, people have abandoned the polling stations. We really want to, because those are very critical issues in this whole process, and also that backup process, because we want to be sure that the first machine, what it captured is actually in the second machine. Well, maybe you even need to show us, like we are capturing here, you see, the second one, because we really need to see, because we are here for the people. I thank you.
And aware that there is a lot of suspicion on this very process. And remember, the president said, once the machine fails, you should not proceed. So we must know what should happen in case the machine totally fails.
Thank you.
For coming to educate us about this voter verification machine. My concern is, this is technology. I would like you to assure us that there will be a person conversant with this technology within reach, that in case of anything, they will come and deal with the machine so that there are no delays. And if these machines run probably on battery, that there will be sufficient, like enough batteries at each station, so that there are no delays, there are no long lines that frustrate voters. That is the assurance I would like to hear from you. You may not have an IT person at each polling station, but they should be within reach, that they can come in time to deal with any technical anything, so that we cure the delays and the long queues. I thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think let's have...
Under the law, we are supposed to work together. But that working is only at the national level, where you invite representatives of political parties for regular meetings. Under the law, that arrangement is supposed to be at the district, where the representative of political parties. Now, under this current arrangement, we have political parties and independent candidates. That structure is supposed to be up to the polling station, where our representatives meet with you at the districts to discuss all these operational issues. Then you have the sub-county supervisors. They should be meeting with our team to discuss operational issues at the sub-county, and then up to the polling station. And it is clearly outlined in your guidelines. And that's how the cleaning of the dead happens. Any challenges where the polling station is located, the issue of security, can you implement, Commissioner, now I'm talking to you commissioners, can you implement the law? Can you write a letter requesting all candidates to appoint representatives that will work with your staff at the polling stations. Not only polling agents, we are supposed to work with you at the polling station, sitting to discuss operational challenges. The way you call us, HDC, we have been sitting at the headquarters. But we have not received a letter as HDC to work with the districts, to appoint representatives to work with you at the sub-county, to appoint representatives to work with you at the
Thank you very much, Honorable.
Or national ID or the QR code. But we are aware, and then after that you scan the thumbprint or fingerprint. My question is for several of our people, especially in the countryside, whose thumbprint cannot be detected, because we've seen this in banks, in NIRA. What is the remedy available as you authenticate that? Thank you.
The voter data department, or NECALIT. Yes, I'm from the voter data department. There we had adjudication or deduplication. And it's why now we have the 21 million, 21.6 about the voters. So we managed to weed out all the duplicates from the register. So we do not expect issues of one voter being in one polling station and one voter being in another. And then, when you come to the station, there are several documents that will identify you. Primarily, we have the National Voters Register for that polling station. And then you, as a voter, you have the voter location slip. Voter location slips are being issued now. Please, members of parliament, tell your various constituents to pick their voter location slips. The voter location slip will make this exercise seamless because a voter location slip has a QR code that is easily read by the biometric. But in case you failed, you didn't pick your voter location slip, your national ID can also support you. But let's assume you don't have the national ID, you don't have your voter location slip, right? Every voter on the National Voters Register has a QR code against their name. It is quicker when you have your voter location slip, isn't it? And also your national ID. But also in case you haven't picked any of that, the register has a QR code against every voter. So you go through that process, you come and you are identified. After you are identified using the voter location slip or the other documents that he highlighted, then there is a verification because that is identification, right? You've been identified. Then you must be verified. Now in the verification process, that is when you use your thumbprint. In case the thumbprint doesn't read, those who dig and so on, we also have facial recognition. So in case the thumbprint prints, your face is there, right? Well, I think all of you have unique faces. So indeed, you'll still be identified, then you'll go through the process until the end. Yes, I hope I've answered. Thank you very much.
We got information from our party, that is the National Unity Platform, that Mr. Byabakama has not provided a final register to the political parties. We know you are supposed to provide that within the last 14 days.
You have stated one can just appear without a national ID and the voters allocation something. Then you reach at the polling station, the presiding officer will just instructed maybe orders from above that don't allow. Then today we are having allow, tomorrow don't allow. So you know Uganda is funny. Someone will state it today, you solve your thing, then tomorrow you find it complicated. So that one we need also to confirm. So how sure? So do I just lose my national ID? I appear, then voters allocation, then I appear. That's where I'm also concerned. Thank you.
ICT. You told us that once a person votes, there is no way he can be detected that a person finished voting here because it was linked only on this machine. Okay? By that we meant that nobody is following the voting, okay? But there is this second gadget here, which you have said that for it is linked to this. That for it is following that so and so is voting, has already finished voting, right? Is there a possibility that there is another machine down, which is this one is seated on, which is also following that voting is taking place? Because you have denied that there is one following whether you have voted, but this machine is already following that somebody has already voted under this machine. Isn't it also possible there is another machine which is at ECU or somewhere in Kololo which is following somebody who has already voted? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable. I think let's have like 3, then we shall have responses. You, then...
Yeah, thank you so much. I fall under the special interest groups. I don't know whether the equipment that you have has it, or I go out.
Is this demonstration limited to only us, members of parliament, or you're going to invite everyone in our, like candidates, party leaders in our respective districts or constituencies to benefit from this? Because I might not be able to train the other side. Are you going to do this, or it ends here? One other thing. In the last by-election, the Kawempe North election, that one, in one parish where Mbogo, there were 6 polling stations. Then SFC, dressed in civilian clothes, they came and stole the boxes. They put them in the middle of the field because it was like a playground. And they started, after voting, at the time, SFC, a minister with the help of SFC, they stole the boxes. They brought them in the middle of that playfield. They started kicking them. They attacked polling assistants, and such can happen again. And yes, they just cancelled. And really, this process is in your hands. You have the laws, you have the guidelines, but that happened. So we want to know, because you came to demonstrate, but there are very fundamental questions that we need to hear what you have to say. Because 6 polling stations, they kind of affect the whole constituency, not so? Especially for people. So we want to know how prepared, if they steal the machines, how are we going to verify the ballot papers? Because some people here in this country, did you read the Animal Farm? They feel very powerful. So they might come and just disorganize where they feel like they are not winning. So they are powerful.
Thank you.
So we're coming to educate us, because education never ends. But when you are demonstrating, I'm a minister for disability. And I came here with the pictures of people who don't have hands. And I'll show them to you. I want to know from you, you will be sending my people away from the polling stations, and yet they want to vote their candidates they love much, who have given them space in this country. And people are going to say, sorry, we don't have anything to do with you. And I've already got that from some students from Makerere University. The system might not be able to capture some of these people, because really this side is all off. So you need to explain to us. And then we have all the people, even in the SAGE program, because these fingers have died. Can you make a system and tell us how do we handle those characters? And then the last one is just a precaution. One time when we had the former ED of NSSF, he said, yes, we have a lot of money, but it might take a child of 12 years to destroy all that money. IT is not all right. what is the system of making sure that our information, other than that backup, you should tell us whether there's a backup system somewhere. And we know our country is very weak in system control. So we need to know whether that system is there where we can see a crash, but we have where things are kept. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, you're most welcome. I know the Honorable Minister, we would like to allay your fears. This system, if you don't have limbs, we also have a facial recognition. All these questions are coming because we've not yet demonstrated, by the way. Do you know we've not yet started the demonstration? We've not started. If I may, through you, moderator, after my boss has responded, if you would allow us to demonstrate, then the questions come. It would really be, yes. Okay. Well noted, well noted. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Minister, we had earlier answered that the data we receive will grade the fingerprints by the polling station. We know which one is the best quality. And if they are completely degraded, the machine is not able to read them, we do the face. And we are able to read what is on the face and to uniquely identify you. There was a question on issuance of ballot papers. You'll be seeing from the demo when we scan. The clarification I would like to provide is that for the kit, for this kit that we have, it has two databases inside. One for the voters, one for the ballots. And they are not linked to each other. So when you come to vote and we issue a ballot, we do not tag the ballot paper to the voter. It just takes a record that this ballot has been issued. It doesn't even take a timestamp because we can trace backwards on who voted first. No, the database for the ballots, no timestamp, and it does not order. It is random, arranged so that we don't trace back the ballot that you finally ticked to the voter. So I'd wanted to clarify on that issue. There are issues which have been raised. I think I'll leave the commissioners will answer later. The operational issues, maybe Samuel Chinji will answer, is the head of election management. But what I'd wanted to clarify on the register we're going to use today, we received a list of 556 members of parliament. But for this demo, we extracted the data that is on this kit is for 375 honorable members. The reason is we also want to showcase for those who are not within the register what happens. So with those few words, I would like moderator, we go direct into the demo. For purposes of this demo, we are going to do the first 60 people. Okay, then we show you how we close the process so that it is easy for you to understand from end to end, then we shall restart after that point. So thank you very much, and over to you, moderator, so that we start.
Thank you very much. We also have in our midst the Honorable Minister, Margaret Mohanga. You're most welcome, Honorable Minister, and we're happy to have you in our midst. So we are going to have the demonstration, and then later the questions can come in. Thank you.